finally being there.
Yeah, I mean, I can't believe in just, under 48 hours, we're going to know all of the players, all of the teams that are going to be at Globals, who's going to be fighting for a championship over there. But of course, we have a championship here this weekend, which is all exciting as well, right? Throughout this grand finals, we got some players coming into a grand finals for their first times. Some of these players are trying to qualify for Globals. Some of these players are trying to win their first FNCS. Oh my gosh, there's so much going on this weekend. And let me tell you something real quick. EU, you were an absolute show. Shout out to Ferdoxy playing so well throughout the day as well. That was a nice little warm up for NA.
Oh man, yeah, if you have not watched the stuff in EU, you need to take time, go do that, because they had 6 amazing games, and they'll be back tomorrow for 6 more amazing games. Let's talk about us. How did we get here? Obviously, if you've been following, you know how we got here, but for those of you who might be new, checking this out for the first time, welcome. We're so happy that you're here. We had 2 majors, a Pro-Am, and then now here we are, major number 3. The next stop is the Global Championship in Lyon, France. It is going to be a fantastic time now. What that, of course, means is we have more players looking to qualify for that. And some trios competing this weekend already have spots secured. So they're just playing for prize money, man. More on that in a second, because first we got to take a look at the lobby list. Let's see some of the names. Obviously, over the course of the last few groups, we've seen kind of like small, like vertical slices of the what will appear to be like a grand finals. But this is it. Take a look at some of these names. And of course, guys, there was something that happened this week. I don't know, something a little small. Last chance qualifier. That's right. So trios who didn't make it into the first 3 groups, they had 1 final attempt. And guys, I'm happy to report Muzz is here. We did it. Yeah.
Isn't it crazy? I would have never imagined in a world where Muzz almost didn't make it into the grand finals here. Muzz, Shadow, and Sphinx not having the best group stages, and that could be due to a few situations that we'll talk on later. But as far as the last chance qualifier goes, game 1, they get the victory royale. We knew that it just wasn't even going to be a struggle for them. And honestly, I love to see them go through, but we know that now that they've qualified, but they didn't qualify through the group stages, they are going to be contested. So that does have a few question marks for how they're going to be performing today.
I mean, contested is, of course, rough in a grand finals, but if there's any light for this trio, for me, it's how many games that they keep winning, right? Kind of qualifying for groups in general. They won so many games throughout the play-ins throughout there, and then qualifying for the LCQ itself. They won so many games, and then of course in the LCQ, you have to win a game to actually make it into the grand final. So this is a team that knows how to win games. They've shown it. Can they do that in grand finals when they make it off spawn? Because if they do, they could easily break into the top 10.
I love it, man. I'm so excited to see Muzz, Shadow, and Sphinx performing here this weekend. Another trio who made it through on the LCQ. You can see on the bottom right side of your screen, we've got Liam, we got Neko, and we've got Zavi. They went ahead and won game number 2. I'm excited to see how they perform today. I mean, for them, I'm sure they're thinking, hey guys, we had to take it to the last chance qualifier. That's already stressful. Oh wow, we've just found ourselves in a lobby of some of the best trios in NAC, and many of them are qualified, and we're trying to qualify as well.
Yeah, they are going to be landing that southwest side. They are going to be contested by Aim Red. I guess I should say they're contesting Aim Red over in that side. And honestly, I think as far as competitive prowess goes, that these 2 trios actually probably have a lot in common. There's a lot of opportunity here for this kind of split chance. I don't think that this is the worst drop spot for them, considering where all the other big teams are landing, Vivid.
I mean, there's got to be a lot of pressure, right? Liam, Neko, and Yavi, they've only made 2 FNCS finals each, right? Wow. So they combined 6 for this trio right now. So, this is still kind of like early days for this trio, and a lot to kind of learn through. And grand finals, they are always so tough for trios who are kind of newer to these types of lobbies. We'll have to see how they do, though.
Look, at the end of the day, it's experience, right? And that's okay. As long as we play to the best of our abilities, we leave it all on the table. I think that's something that you can walk away from with your head held high, right? Of course, there is one final trio as we bring up back that lobby list. Bottom right side of your screen, it's Naps, it's Cyrus, it's Zyrelli. The last trio, they got the last victory out from the last chance qualifier. I said last a lot there. That was crazy. But again, similar situation, right? We're finding ourselves in a lobby full of just very good trios, right? If it wasn't already stressful having to kind of the lights come on and now we have to perform against them, they're also probably thinking in the back of their minds, could we qualify to globals? How do we do that with so many trios standing in our way?
Let me add one last to that description. This is the last time we'll be seeing them because they're going to be contesting Acorn Agers and Pollo, and I just don't know how much screen time they're going to be getting. There's always surprises that come in through the FNCS, but my goodness, what a team to pick to drop on Vivid.
I mean, yeah, you got to be feeling pretty confident to go head-to-head with that trio, the ones that were kind of taking it to Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual in the first place to kind of shift them out of that job spot. But game number 3 of the LCQ was so crazy. It was either between this trio or Edgy's trio kind of qualifying. Those were the last 2 teams in game number 3, and it went down to the heel. So it was either like Peterbot was going to be contested by the team that won, that being an Edgy, or this trio was going to win, and they were going to go ahead and contest Acorn. So the storyline there was absolutely crazy. Game 3 of LCQ was so much fun. If you got some time today, go ahead and watch that one back. But yeah, there's 33 of our trio, Zeke.
Man, this is stacked without a doubt. There is something kind of like interesting, and it's the fact that like there's some names on this list that I feel like should have been here, Vivid, and maybe they're not. Some of these players are basically missing. Where'd they go?
Yeah, right. It kind of feels like when you look at the lobby, this is like, man, it feels like some of our players are kind of missing, right? It's like, I swear there are some names that we're used to seeing on the region who aren't here. And yeah, I mean, that's just a straight up fact, right? Some of our players have actually moved over to the NA West region to go ahead and try to qualify to the globals through the spot over there. And we've, of course, got Bucky, we got Baka and Pars who are already qualified to globals, and then Epic Whale, Miro, and also, Paper and Victor V are also over there. Kelly, right? There's like so many names that I feel like we were missing things. I was like, wait, where did all these guys go? Of course, they're on NA West.
First off, production, please never change that picture of Bucky. I want that to be used for every single time we talk about him. It is the best picture ever. To me, I just can't believe that there's only one spot available in NA West, and there's honestly a lot of big names that are still vying for that final spot. Bucky, though, is a great team to be able to potentially take away that last ticket that they have to global championships. They got first place out of consistency out of their groups. They got top 6 4 of the times out of the 5 games that they played. They obviously just have so much understanding of the game, and going from NA Central to NA West, which a lot of people would argue is an easier region, they're bringing a lot of that knowledge from a difficult region to something that is quote unquote easier.
That's gonna be tough, right, Kelly? It's gonna be tough. What's not tough is Victor V dancing there. I really like that. Production, feel free to reuse that somewhere later on the show. Let's talk about the trios who have already qualified. So again, there is some trios we'll be seeing right now who have already got themselves a spot going to the global championship, which means they're basically playing for prize money, maybe to gatekeep other trios and say, whoa, stay out of that top qualifying spot. Maybe they're looking to change up, fight each other, secure a spot in global championships, right? There's so many little things each one of these trios are looking to accomplish this weekend. This is a look at major number 1. We can see from NAC. Remember back then we had, Pollo, Peterbot going head to head. They qualified in major number 2. Clix, Iamzo, Higgs, Visual Braids, and Diminished, and then Recooper Curly got themselves 3 spots. But now here we are once again back down to only 2. Guys, when we start to think about, I don't know, where some of these trios are landing, what does that look like for the map? What does that look like for my potential rotations? Yeah, north side of the map, it's Kelly, it's not great. It's not great. Help.
It's not looking super hot, especially when you consider you got King, Phaser, and PH Zen also coming in from Brazil, and they've been looking so good recently. So it's not just the NA winners that we have here. We also have players, foreigners coming in to take over our region, Vivid. But honestly, there is a lot of big teams on the leader or on the map right now, which kind of pushes the rest of the lobby to these kind of outward edges because the big POIs are already taken.
Yeah, and of course, throughout the weekend, we'll keep reminding everybody at home, but don't forget, all of those 6 trios that are already qualified to the global championships can, of course, not qualify again, right? So if they happen to find themselves in top 2, top 3, whatever, their spots are going to roll down. So we're potentially looking at top 8 to qualify for the global championships with just 2 spots, though. It'll be interesting to see who goes ahead and claims them.
Yeah, that's really interesting, right? When you have to think, because normally we're used to hey, you've got to be first or second or top 3, right? But top 8, you say? That seems
sounds a lot easier.
Yeah, it sounds very easy, right? Comparatively. And more on that in a little bit, because first we wanted to talk about Storm Surge. Obviously, it's going to make or break some trios, right? And in a lobby like this, where some of the very best are going head to head, you have to lock down your Surge strategy. We have some data here from Majors 1 and Major 2. And as we kind of look at these numbers, I think it's interesting. And remember, those are different seasons, right? Currently, we have each major kind of going up just a little bit, right? but this is primarily like a heal off season. So I feel like some of these numbers could be a lot higher than what we've seen in the past, right?
They could be, and it's possible that we're going to see them much higher today. Obviously, as the majors go on and the game changes, the heals change in the game as well. And there are a lot of heals in the game right now, Vivid, and that definitely causes a lot of storm surge trading to happen, as well as these heal offs that we've seen so many times in the end games.
Yeah, it's often the items that are in the game can kind of dictate how Storm Surge actually plays out. It's going to be one of the most important factors